TD Place in Ottawa, the Grey Cup champions are back home, still looking for their first win of the new season. Tonight, the Red Blacks face their first division rival, the Toronto Argonauts, coming up here on TSN as we say hello and welcome you to the CFL on TSN and a Saturday doubleheader beginning with the Argos and the Red Blacks, Rod Smith, Milt Stiegel, Matt Dunnigan, Chris Schultz, and as an added treat, we have Jock Climby standing by. He's with us as well at TD Place. Jock, finally the Red Blacks get to face a team that's not the Calgary Stampeders. You know, those are tough games, and they ended up with a tie and a loss. So no victory yet. And despite some of the positives for Ottawa, how much more importance is this game tonight, especially against the team, the Argos, that does fashion itself as a good rival to Ottawa?
Well, you said it. I mean, this is the first time against an Eastern Division rival in quite some time. In fact, you got to go back to October 21st of last year since they played someone in the Eastern Division. Now, the Red Blacks are feeling right now like they're not getting a lot of respect. They're saying, hey, we're the defending champions, and no one's treating it that way. However, they know that respect has to be earned. How do they get that? Well, they got a huge challenge, obviously, with Ricky Ray. One of the things they're looking at, pressure. I was talking to Mark Nelson, defensive coordinator. He says if we do not get to the quarterback, which they have not been able to do so far this year, it's going to be a long night. I talked to Marcel Desjardins. Completely different perspective how this team gets back on track. Much bigger picture. He's worried about the schedule. They got a tough schedule. This is the first of 4 games in 17 days. So the Red Blacks know it's not going to get any easier, guys.
Schultze?
2 things. Number 1 is you're going to win the game. Number 2 is incremental improvement. Both of these teams have goals to just get a little better, a little better, a little better as the season progresses. We're still early in this football season. Right. Keep improving.
Yes.
Keep improving.
Schultze, couldn't agree more. It's week 3. Yes. Right? Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be playing their best football right now. They want to improve as the season goes on. But I get why the Red Blacks don't get a lot of respect right now. They were 8-9-1 last year, won a couple playoff games, and the biggest one, which they had to win, was the Grey Cup. And they're winless this year. Mm-hmm. You got to earn that every year. Last year's last year. You earn your respect every time you take the football field. And it's going to be tough sledding against the Toronto Argonauts tonight because I like this football team. In spite of only scoring 15 points, I think they're going to light it up tonight.
When you talk about how important a game is, unlike, basketball, baseball, or hockey, where you have some throwaway games. That's not the case in football. You have 18 games. So this is an important game. And this team has not won a game. They've played well, but what does that mean? There are no consolation prizes. They haven't won a game. They need to win this game. This Toronto Argonauts, they're a lot better than what they were last year. Ricky Ray's played better, but that defense is what making them a lot better.
I think it's a statement game for Toronto, too. And I think Mark Trestman is obviously a different coach. He's attention to detail on the road. I think this is a game for them. First one on the road. They want to make a statement. Say, hey, we're here to be reckoned with, Schultze.
Mark Trestman wants to see perfection. He wants to see perfection in his quarterback. He wants to see perfection in his defensive personnel. He wants to see perfection. When he sees that perfection, he knows his team will eventually win.
Which Ricky Ray will show up today?
That's what I'm interested in. He was good last week, too.
He wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough.
Defense.
Hey,
he wasn't good enough.
Toronto was great against Hamilton 2 weeks ago. The Ticats play their second game later tonight, part 2 of the doubleheader in Saskatchewan. Kickoff coming up in Ottawa, though. Stick around. And if it happens a second time, you could also be in store for $1 million. Good luck, Andrea. Part 1 of a doubleheader Saturday. Let's go to Rod Black and Dwayne Ford in Ottawa.
Hello, Canada. Spectacular CFL summer Saturday night. Provincial rivals, the Argos and the Red Blacks. Both teams come into this a little angry after losses last week.
Losses, but excited about some of the things they were able to do offensively. Deontay Spencer, the former Argonaut, playing his first game against his old team. A monster last week in Calgary. 351 total yards and 2 touchdowns. He was one of the top performers of the week, of course. And for the Argos, Armonte Edwards. Targeted 10 times, caught all 10 of them, 131 yards against the BC Lions, quickly becoming a big part in Ricky Ray's offense.
Third game back in the CFL for Mark Trestman. First time ever here in Ottawa. When he left the CFL to go to the NFL, the Ottawa Red Blacks did not exist. So brand new stadium for him. And Rick Campbell knows all about this place. He wants to get his team on the path to what they hope will be a home Grey Cup game. A long way away, of course, this stadium the site of the 2018 Grey Cup. Another sellout here tonight It is a great night for football. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it on. The Red Blacks and the Argonauts. Red Blacks in their black and red. Deontay Spencer makes his way close to the 25-yard line, and out comes the former Argonaut, Trevor Harris, with the glove again on his right throwing hand this week.
Yeah, having some issues with that hand, but obviously didn't seem to affect him too badly a week ago. You see Trevor Harris's numbers on the season, completing 75% of his passes, 5 TD passes versus just 1 interception.
Red Blacks come on the field right away, don't even huddle up. They go right to it from their 24. Moses Madu into the ball game. There was some thought about Madu versus William Powell. If William Powell would be ready, Madu gets the start.
And you see a little bit of juggling in that receiving core. Dominique Rimes, the rookie, will get the start at slot. He wears number 89 along that offensive line. Eric Lofton, rookie, in at left guard, the import out of Temple. We'll keep an eye on matchup off the edge. Jason Lauzon-Seguin, East Division's top rookie last year, have his hands full tonight with Sean Lemon and Victor Butler coming off the edge for the Argos.
Second down conversion quickly for Harris. High percentage passer so far this year. Goes over the top. And again for his running back, Moses Madu. It's a very quick 2 and out here for the Red Blacks. And so mystery solved tonight. There was some thought that William Powell would be in the lineup. Missed last week's game, played early in the season, had the ankle problem. And so William Powell a scratch here tonight.
Yeah, Powell banged up in week 1, the season opener against Calgary.
Brett Maher, leading punter in the Canadian Football League. Chandler Worthy is back, and he's zigging and zagging, and down he goes near the 30-yard line. Nigel Romick downfield, and a late flag just flew as the players were coming off the field. Our referee tonight is Kim Murphy here at TD Place Stadium at Lansdowne Park in the nation's capital.
After the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness, Toronto, number 26, 15-yard penalty, first down, Toronto.
Mark Trestman will not be happy with that, a guy who lives by the small details, every detail in a ball game.
Keep an eye on the left side of your screen, a little scuffle between Cassius Vaughn, and there's the shot to the face mask of Patrick Lavoie that will back the Argos up 15.
Ricky Ray to the air right away. And the catch made near the first down marker, and a penalty flag as well. And that's for Armani Edwards. There are 2 flags on the play. Edwards coming off a monster week last week, the former quarterback from Appalachian State. Looks like it's against Toronto again.
The Argonauts digging themselves into an immediate hole in terms of field position.
So backed up again.
Procedure, no end, Toronto, that penalty is declined. Legal interference, blocking downfield. Toronto, number 19, half the distance, be first down repeated.
It was S.J. Green, the former Montreal Alouette, who has made an instant impact since coming to the Argos, wearing his new uniform. Argos with their ears pinned back here by themselves. 3 penalties already from their 8. Ray in the shotgun. Crowd revs it up here. Now he steps up, takes it, looking, will throw to the near sideline. Not a good throw. Trying to come back for it was S.J. Green, who can make circus catches, but that one was almost impossible.
And here's a look at the Toronto Argonauts starting offense. Former Red Black Khalil Payton gets his first shot in this receiving core tonight. Brandon Whitaker is back in at running back after missing last week's game. Tyler Holmes on that offensive line, the Ottawa native. And at left guard as usual for the Argonauts.
Second down. Gray once more. And ducking under cover near the 15, well short of the first down. Barely gets back to the first down marker is S.J. Green. First catch of the evening. So Lirim Hajrullahu is going to come out, and he's got to have to lift this one from near his 5-yard line. The Red Blacks should get good field position. Sun beaming in here, shadows casting their way across the field. Sun will be right in the eyes of Deontay Spencer, who returned a kick last week in Calgary for a touchdown. Runs into his own player and then gets crushed. 47-yard kick, 10-yard return. Nothing on the board yet. Trevor Harris trying to get his team to strike first here tonight in the Battle of Ontario. Argos, Red Blacks, Saturday night, the nation's capital. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Canada's capital city in Ottawa tonight, the Red Blacks, the defending Grey Cup champions, Toronto Argonauts, coming off a 5-13 season, a season they did not make the playoffs, trying to turn it around. Red Blacks instant field position here. To the near sideline, it is Deontay Spencer, the former Toronto Argonaut, close to a first down, maybe 3 yards shy.
And look at the Argo defense. It's been led by this front four, Sean Lemon and Victor Butler. They've both been handfuls off the edges for this group. Veteran linebacking core, Marcus Ball and Bear Woods, along with the former Tiger Cat, Cassius Vaughn. As well, some experience in that secondary, former Hamilton Tiger Cats, Rico
Toronto,
Murray and Johnny
number 94, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Offside. Victor Butler, another guy who's made his presence felt, the former NFLer, coming to Toronto with the Argos for the first time. Up the gut they plunge. Will not get a first down on 1st and 5. They're still going to be 2 yards shy of that. In the middle of it, as you will know all night long, is Bear Woods. Moses Madu on that carry, and so second down here, short yardage from the Argo 45-yard line. Harris, pistol formation, Madu behind him. Will give him the rock, and he gets swallowed up once more and may not have it again. Looks like they're going to be short by maybe a yard.
Well, Marcus Ball led the charge that time, beat his block. Off the offensive right edge, beat his block to the inside and crashed down to make a hit on the running back.
So it is going to be third down. The Red Blacks have not missed on a third down gamble. This is third and a long yard going forward. They have to get it down to near the 42.5-yard line. They're at the 44. Harris is back in the shotgun now. Looks like he wants to throw. Yeah, there it is now. And also caught the Argonauts jumping. That cadence threw them off, and so they will continue this drive.
Offside.
Next to another offside
Toronto,
penalty.
number 6, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Mark Trestman's going to go ballistic soon. I know he's a calm, quiet guy, but I'll tell you what, that's a lot of penalties already.
Well, a calm, quiet guy, but also a detail guy.
And that is Trevor Harris making them jump.
And you can hear the Toronto guys yelling, "Watch the ball."
First and 10, near sideline. Greg Ellingson hauling it in and then pushed out of bounds. Marcus Ball down there on the tackle, and a big gainer for 14 yards for the Red Blacks, who will get to the line very quickly. No huddle offense once more. First and 10 from inside the 25-yard line.
Ellingson coming off a 100-plus yard game. Ottawa had 3 receivers break the century mark last week.
Keeps it on the turf, the handoff. to Madu. We also welcome our listeners on TSN Radio 1050 in Toronto. Wherever you are watching or listening tonight, we welcome you. Beautiful summer evening in Ottawa. Great night to be watching Canadian football. Second down now. Throwing down again for Harris. Dominic Rhymes and Brad Sinopoli are in motion. Quick hitter this time. Close to a first down. And it is the former Ottawa GG quarterback, Nick Wright winner, Brad Sinopoli.
Brad Sinopoli is going to line up as the number 4 receiver in this set. You'll see how he uses a little bit of leverage with the inside move to kind of peek freeze the linebacker, Bear Woods inside, gets him to sit, and then works back into that tight window between Woods and the halfback, Johnny Sears.
To the red zone. Red Blacks 3 of 7 so far in the early season. Harris throws and batted away and up for grabs, but a good defensive play in the end zone. Johnny Sears, blanket coverage there, knocked that away, and Marcus Ball down there as well.
And Josh Stangby is out wide on this one. He's going to make his break inside. Sears is anticipating this one, sitting down on the inside. Ottawa fans feeling that maybe the contact came a little bit early. Rick Campbell's got that yellow flag in his hand, but looks like he's put it back in his pocket.
Harris now, corner route, and unable to run underneath it was Sinopoli. So Harris looking to the sideline, and Brett Maher is going to come out here, and the Red Blacks with 8 minutes to go in this first quarter need to put some points on the board early. So really a victory for the Argos, considering all the penalty issues, to hold Ottawa to a field goal attempt. Maher, who has been perfect this season, 7 for 7, is going to kick this from the 19-yard line. And now a challenge flag has been thrown by Rick Campbell, who's having a tough time looking into that video screen as well because the sun is right in his eyes. Saw the replay, looked up, sunglasses on, and has decided to challenge that last play.
We'll figure out whether this was involving some contact with the intended receiver, Brad Sinopoli.
Ottawa is challenging the previous play that there was illegal contact on their number 88. We'll review the play.
So command center is going to take it away. We'll step aside, come back to TD Place in just a moment. Key decision to be made here. Replays have been looked at the command center. Let's go down to Kim Murphy now for the verdict. From what we saw, good chance that the call will be overturned on the field. This might be a successful challenge for Rick Campbell here.
Yeah, you'll see Brad Sinopoli start off towards the flat and turn it into a wheel route, meaning he's originally going towards the sideline and then looks to take it vertical. And the defender impeded him a little bit as he tried to turn it up.
Here's the call.
After review, it's been determined we have pass interference. Toronto, number 4, will go half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
So Brett Maher will step off the field. Trevor Harris comes back on. The offense stays on. And here's a look at that play, 40.
Yeah, right at the bottom of the screen, you see Brandon Harris. That's just as Sinopoli makes his break in that wheel route to turn it north-south. Harris prevents him from getting going in that direction. And the Red Blacks get a reprieve.
Close to the midway point of this opening quarter. Zeros on the board here. Brendan Galander's into the ball game as well. He will line up with Harris. And play action. And a touchdown! Moses Madu.
Great misdirection as they go to a two-back set. The crossing action of the backs held that Toronto defense on the fake. Just a second fake to Brendan Galander's going to the right. Everybody kind of forgets about Moses Madu.
Second touchdown of the season for Madu. They line up to go for 2 here. From the 3-yard line, Harris again. Quick hitter. And an incomplete pass. And a penalty flag down. Kwasi Owusu-Ansah in the play with all of those defenders who love those dreads for the Argos.
Offside. Toronto, number 40. We'll go half the distance to the goal and repeat the convert.
Mark Trestman, who we talked with yesterday, said they had a terrific week of practice.
Yeah, coming off a less than stellar performance against the BC Lions.
Particularly fourth quarter.
Yeah. So, you know, he was kind of looking to see the way his team responded to that. Felt like on their own, they put together a pretty good week.
Now handed off for the 2-point convert. And so far, it's all Moses. Madu with the dance in the end zone. And Moses with a touchdown and the 2-point convert. And a quick 8-0 Red Blacks lead. Moses Madu, touchdown in the 2-point convert, 8-0 Red Blacks. To the sideline we go. Here's Jock Climbing.
Well, guys, I think it's just fascinating the way the rule changes in the CFL have changed everything. I mean, here we have a 2-point conversion, something that quarterbacks didn't ever have to do before, and now it's automatic for the Red Blacks. Now in the first quarter, they go for 2. And how about the pass interference? They should have challenged that first pass interference. I was talking to Trevor Harris on the sideline. We both agreed. The first one was actually PI, but then they got the second PI challenge successfully so, which resulted in a touchdown.
Thanks, Jock. Chandler Worthy on the return. Worthy, another former NFLer, played his college ball at Troy, first year with the Argos. Yeah, we didn't know you were concurring as well. Probably a good chance to challenge that first one for PI, and it worked out for the Red Blacks. So now Ricky Ray's got work to do here. Down 8. Quick hitter, near sideline. There's DeVere Posey, the guy who took Deontay Spencer's spot and his number.
Yeah, DeVere Posey, a guy who's been a bit of a pleasant surprise here in his second season with the Argos, but first full season, and has really benefited from the opportunity to go through a full training camp and really A, get to know the offense, B, have a chance to understand some of the nuances of the Canadian game after coming in at mid-season last year when there was a bit of turmoil.
Comes into this week, leading passer, receiver in the CFL. Ricky Ray's in trouble, and he's going down. He's sacked. Zach Evans as his first sack of the new season.
Well, the big defensive tackle, Regina native. Go to work from his defensive tackle spot.
On Tyler
nice rip
Holmes.
move to get through, coming from the other side. Sorry, working against Corey Watman.
There's a bouncing ball on the punt. Oh, and a fumbled football, and the Argos may have this. There's a penalty flag down, a 55-yard kick. Anthony Woodson's flexing his muscles down there. There it is, and the pile driver, that's Robert Woodson down there. Maybe a fumble. We'll find out when we come back.
Unnecessary roughness call goes against the Toronto Argonauts. It remains Ottawa REDBLACKS football.
Another penalty tonight for the Toronto Argos. That's now 6. And it was James Wilder who was penalized. The running back on special teams takes away the recovery.
And the penalties at this point, 7 penalties already for the Toronto Argonauts, costing them 56 yards. Ottawa yet to record a penalty in this ballgame.
Ticking down to 5:11 left in the opening quarter in Ottawa tonight. REDBLACKS football again, 1st and 10 from the 50. Those in their whites tonight. And breaking free here. Moses Madu with a big rumble up near the 37-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot it a little bit less than that. Just outside the 44 and a 16-yard scamper.
Yeah, nice patience here by Moses Madu. One dance move to the right, and he gets it north-south in a hurry through the hole.
REDBLACKS domination so far, but the Argos issue has not been the guys in the red and black uniforms. It's been those orange penalty flags. Way too many so far. Trevor Harris back in the shotgun, and a whistle and a flag.
Time count violation. Ottawa, number 7. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Time count. Play clock had ticked down to 0. Sun again beating down to the sidelines, making it very difficult for the coaching staff for Ottawa to see the formation right now. First and 15 from the Toronto 50. Little dump pass to Madu once more. Moses Madu down near the 40-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and about 5 yards to go now after pickup of almost 10.
A good play call there for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, knowing in that long yardage situation that the Argos front is going to have their ears pinned back, getting up the field on the pass rush. Just work that screen against them to go the other way.
Harris back to pass on 2nd down. Crossing pattern. And not getting to that first down marker once more. And that's Deontay Spencer. And chatting with him yesterday, he was champing at the bit for this game against his old mates.
Excited, certainly, despite all the change in that Toronto roster, to play against some of his former teammates. A little friendly trash talk back and forth through the week.
So short, and it's a 3rd down play here. Ryan Lindley will easily get that. Plunges forward on the sneak, so they'll keep it going again. 8-point lead, 3 minutes to go in the first quarter.
The REDBLACKS right side of that offensive line. Got a great push. Right guard Alex Mateus tackle Jason Lauzon-Seguin about 3 or 4 yards downfield. Here you'll get another look at those big boys. Want to make it easy for the guy holding the ball in that situation. Don't want their quarterback to get too stressed out.
Trevor Harris again wearing the glove for the 2nd game on his throwing hand. Back to pass, play action. Under pressure now, and he's getting dropped. And Harris gets sacked for the first time tonight. Good pressure from the Argos this time. Drive the REDBLACKS back to their 40-yard line.
Argos bringing 5 on this one with the middle linebacker, Bear Woods. Looping around the edge. He's the first one to make contact. And slow up Trevor Harris.
Leon Lang and Victor Butler supply the finishing touch. Big down here for the Argos defense. 2nd and 16. Harris fires, and losing his bucket is Greg Ellingson, but hanging on to the football. But will be short of a first down by about 8 yards.
Yeah, so tough to recover on a drive. You know, the numbers bear it out. Anytime you take a penalty or give up a sack, it's so hard to overcome.
Speaking of bearing it out,
yardage.
there's Bear Woods again. Ellingson didn't like the hit. Maher back on the field to take the hold from the 36. Brett Maher, perfect so far in 2017, now 8 for 8. 11-0 Red Blacks with a minute to go in the opening frame. Let's go to the sideline. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
Rod, that 11-0 scoreline is going to have to get better for Toronto, and the only way you do that is move the ball downfield. There was a lot of work this week in practice maintaining the football and getting some yak yards, specifically on Thursday when receivers coach Tommy Campbell was working with Amonte Edwards and DeVere Posey and Jeff Fuller, hanging on to the football, progressively going downfield, especially around the score zone. Now, Coach Condell said it's all about depth and timing, and things get to and look a little different as you're going down the field, so we want to encourage the receivers. And then what S.J. Green do on the other end of the field, had a shoot-top catch in the end zone. Guys?
Well, they're going to need a lot of that coming forward here, and Armonte Edwards supplies a first down. Their first down of the night on a 15-yard pickup.
And this was something with which the Argos had a lot of success against BC. He was hitting Armonte Edwards on that quick slant from his slot position. The defense lays off, and there's a soft spot in the middle. Very effective. Taking advantage of it.
First and 10 again for Ricky Ray. 15th season. And right into the sunshine. And I don't know if Edwards lost that in the sun, but it didn't even look like he could make an effort at that toss. Just the one area of the field enveloped by sun right now.
Get a look at Armonte Edwards' body of work from week 2 against BC. As I said off the top, 10 catches for 131 yards, made particularly impressive by the fact that he was only targeted 10 times, so complete every time they went his way.
Ray. Posey can't come up with it on second down. Jonathan Rose with his third pass knockdown of the season, and again the Argos can't get to the Ottawa side of the field.
Good coverage there from Jonathan Rose, an East Division All-Star at corner last year, sporting a new number. That number 9 in 2017.
Lirim Hajrullahu to boot this on the final play of the opening quarter. He angles it, 2 returners this time. And Spencer tripped up and ripped down by Robert Woodson. That is the first quarter, dominated by the home side. The Argos' first road game of the season, not so good so far. 11-0 Red Blacks. Saturday Night Football, game 1 of our doubleheader on TSN tonight. (11-0) Red Blacks tonight in the first meeting of the season between Ottawa and Toronto, who have played notoriously close games in the past. This one not so close so far. And yesterday we chatted with Rick Campbell, head coach of the Red Blacks, talked about, you know, some of the self-inflicted wounds they had last week in Calgary in their loss to the Stampeders. The reverse could be said right now, those self-inflicted things going on for the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah, absolutely. Basic assignment errors, and obviously the one that stands out at this point is penalties. You look right now, Ottawa is leading in terms of time of possession with over 10 and a half minutes of possession in the first quarter, leaving the Argos under 5 minutes. But the biggest issue for Toronto so far has been penalties. Absolutely killing themselves, putting themselves in a huge hole in this ball game. And as Rick Campbell suggested, those things can be the difference in a close game.
So now the Red Blacks take over here. Start of the second quarter, another penalty flag, and this might be the first one against Ottawa.
Ottawa, number 81. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So longer field this time. Spotted back near the 12-yard line. Patrick Lebois making his way off the field. A substitution in for Ottawa. Trevor Harris, who last week said he couldn't grip the football before that game in Calgary. Some issues with his forearm and throwing hand, but no issues so far tonight. Far side. Brad Sinopoli slicing his way down for a pickup of 4 yards.
Sinopoli did well to make the first guy miss in tight quarters. The defender has the advantage in that space of being able to use the sideline as an extra defender, but Sinopoli still slipped through there to improve that field position slightly.
Red Blacks just disrupting Toronto's defense, it seems, tonight with the no huddle. Every single time downfield. Great catch by Josh Stangby. Second season with the Red Blacks. Played a game last year, but Stangby has already had some big catches early in this season.
Yeah, he's certainly been impressive in the early going. Talked about him before. Played for Ottawa in college. Ottawa, Kansas, of course, so never part of the Panda game.
Speaking of which, there's a guy who didn't get a chance to play in the annual Panda game. That Carleton coming back, and Brad Sinopoli and Ottawa and Carleton, that annual game here.
Legal interference, blocking down
brings
field.
out everybody.
Ottawa, number 89. That's a 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So the Red Blacks getting stung here now by penalties. That play is negated. Bringing it back a long way here. First and 20 for the Red Blacks from the 19-yard line. Harris will empty out the backfield. But he runs a screen. And it was spied perfectly by the Argos. Bear Woods in on another tackle.
Well, Bear Woods on his way to a second consecutive 100-plus tackle season. Number 48 coming from left to the middle of your screen. Just tracked the back across the formation. Stepped up to make a play.
Corey Chamberlain, former Saskatchewan Rough Rider, Grey Cup winning coach. Now the defensive coordinator with the Argos. Harris going deep for Ellingson. High point catch, bringing it down in Toronto territory. Big play.
This is classic Greg Ellingson. Going up, as you said, to get that ball at his highest possible point over top of the defender. It's Matt Webster out on the field corner. Well positioned, but Ellingson outreaches him.
38-yard pickup. First and 10, just inside Argo territory. And false start here.
Procedure. Ottawa, number 81. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
First down again. 15. Argos and the Red Blacks both came into this week with 7 30-plus catches, big plays each. Both offenses doing a number in the early season. And Ellingson adding to that tally. The Red Blacks starting to catch up in the penalty department. Harris keeps it on the ground on first down. We can get it almost to the initial line of scrimmage for Moses Madu. Let's go down to Jock.
Guys, I'm standing right where Greg Ellingson made that catch, and I am staring directly into the sun. And this is something the young receivers have to understand about playing the position. There are going to be times when that ball will disappear, but it will always reappear out of that sun. And Ellingson did a fabulous job of focusing and waiting for that ball to come back into view and make the catch.
John Climbing going to make a lot of catches. Sun it on. And almost a pick. And that would have gone a long way, maybe back to the house for Cassius Vaughn. A knockdown and the drive stalls, and Brett Maher will punt this away. And this time, this drive, penalties hurt the Red Blacks.
And on that play, great anticipation by Cassius Vaughn. We saw earlier Brad Sinopoli sort of leverage the defender with an inside move and break out. That time Vaughn sat on the inside all the way and beat the receiver to the spot.
What a great kick by Maher. Chandler Worthy. Long field here for the Argos. He's down at the 4-yard line on a 55-yard boot from the former Nebraska Cornhusker. Best catch of the ball game so far. Greg Ellingson, he says that in a lot of ball games. Sure-handed, durable receiver. One of the Red Black stars. They lead 11-zip here on Saturday night.
I'm not sure what instructions Chandler Worthy was given from the sidelines before he went out for that punt return, but this to me is a rookie mistake. First-year returner has got to understand when that ball is going to land inside the 10, certainly inside the 5-yard line. At this stage of the football game, let it bounce into the end zone. Give up the single point and take the field position. Down 11-0 at this stage of the game. Go down 12-0, but don't leave yourself with your back against the wall, snapping the ball from your floor.
The danger was he almost went back in the end zone again. That would have been a safety. Ricky Ray just 3 of 6 for 28 yards. Ferocious Red-Black defense right now. Another knockdown. Jarrell Gavins hovering like a vulture. Snuffs that play away.
Oh, Jarrell Gavins. Longest serving members of these Red Blacks. A week 1 starter back in 2014. Nice play, step in front of S.J. Green on that one.
Argos absolutely stymied here. Ray's going to go deep. He has his man. It's a big first down. The Argos' biggest play of the game, and who else but S.J. Green.
This is why you get veteran guys like S.J. Green. Ricky Ray calm under pressure as he's launching this one from his own end zone, arms up in his face. S.J. Green on the tail end of that corner route. Gets the feet down inbounds. Huge pickup for the Toronto Argonauts.
28-yard gain. Match the total that Ray had accumulated all game so far. And Deontay Spencer, or make that Devere Posey, sorry, who makes that catch. And let's go down to Jock.
Guys, I'm talking to the Mark Nelson, defensive coordinator for the Ottawa Redblacks before the football game. He knows very well that Ricky Ray's Achilles heel historically has been throwing against zone. We saw it last week against the BC Lions. Now, Ricky Ray ate up the Hamilton Bearcats and saw a lot of man-to-man. But in order to be effective in zone, you need pressure with 4-man and 5-man rush. This is what's going to be interesting to watch for the rest of this football game in a chess match. 4 or 5-man pressure, zone defense.
Some of the pressure, a running play though, and Brandon Whitaker's first touch. Bursts through and has a first down. And right into Red-Black territory. Their 54-yard line.
Yeah, well-timed play call after a couple of completed passes, getting that defense off balance a little bit with the unexpected run. Great job by Tyler Holmes getting to second level, blocking up the linebacker. Brandon Whitaker, first down run.
Whitaker, who played with Mark Trestman, of course, in Montreal, the former Baylor Bear. First time the Argos have been on the Red Black side of the field, and not this time. Zach Evans stops Brandon Whitaker. Maybe a loss of a half yard.
Marcus Brady, offensive coordinator for these Toronto Argonauts, former CFL quarterback.
Second down conversion for the Argos, operating at about 42% on the season. Red Blacks at 50. Season is early though. 4-man rush. Ray now fires on the far side. And Anthony Coombs has his first catch. And looks like he's going to get it to about the 45-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 46, so that's about a 3-yard difference from the first down marker, so they're 3 yards shy.
Coombs was the 4th receiver to release to that side, and the other 3 clear things out, and he just ran the flat.
And look at this.
Yeah, aggressive call here for the Argos to go for it.
It says 3rd and 2, but it's more like 3 here. Ricky Ray's throwing out of the backfield. What a catch by Brandon Whitaker. This is going to depend on the spot, and I don't think they got it. No, not by this spot. Whitaker made a great catch. Once again, the third down, aggressive gamble by the Argos. Fails. It's Ottawa football. Khalil Bass reels him in. Argos down 11-0. REDBLACKS pitching a shutout here in Ottawa.
Ricky Ray's completed pass went to Brandon Whitaker in the flat on the front side of his read, but because there was pressure, Ray didn't have much time to get through his full progression. So he's looking to the front side flat, but you're going to see pressure come off at this edge, forcing Ray to throw it sooner than he wants. If he has more time and can get further into that read progression, he can look backside where you'll see the fullback, Declan Cross, essentially uncovered in the flat and with a good chance of being able to get that first down. As I said, unfortunately, he's hurried into making that throw.
Missed opportunity for the Argos. Can't get anything going right now. Crossing pattern. And Greg Ellingson picks up another first down for Ottawa. Right at the midfield stripe. 13-yard gain.
Rod, you talked earlier about the big plays offensively for these two teams, the passes of 30-plus yards. It seems like a lot of those for Ottawa over the last couple years have come courtesy primarily of short passes and the yards after the catch.
Heavy hitting going on. Moses Madu dropped by Victor Butler. By the way, he did register a sack earlier in the ball game, so Butler now has 5 on the season, leads the CFL coming into the week. Second down now, 6 yards to go. Injured Argo.
And Marcus Ball kind of got bounced out of that collision with Moses Madu. See two Argos converge here.
Big collision and ball down.
Yeah, he looked like he took the brunt of that. And on his right shoulder.
A little woozy getting to his feet. Scott Shannon, the athletic therapist of the Argos, is with Marcus Ball, and what an addition, a re-addition, getting Marcus Ball back. He's up and making his way to the sideline. We'll step aside and come back to the nation's capital. 11-0 Ottawa REDBLACKS. 35 till halftime tonight. Coming up with the boys at the half, GMC Professional Grade Playbook with Henry Burris on setting the table with the first down offense.
Hello to our old friend Henry Burris.
TV guy now. A guy who has become a hero here for leading his team to the Grey Cup last November. Almost Trevor Harris's team in a sandwich down near the 45. Patrick Lavoie sandwich. Listen in. Whoa. Former star in Laval, Patrick Lavoie has been utilized quite a bit in the early season. Harris whispers something to him. Harris changing the play now. Leaves it on the ground again for Madu. First down, plunge of 3 yards. Terrence Plummer in on the tackle out of Central Florida. New faces for the Argos, not only on the field, off the field. Their coach, Mark Tressman, their GM, Jim Pop. Second down and 7. Harris now goes a deep ball for Stangby. Almost leaps, dives, and just through his outstretched arms. Josh Stangby, what a burner.
Yeah, good coverage on the outside. Sears going stride for stride. And this ball has to be absolutely perfect and just half step away from the intended receiver, Stangby.
Brett Maher from the 48. Drew Tate puts it down. Maher puts it up. And his first miss of the season will get a point. Maher's blemish here tonight makes it a 12-0 lead for Ottawa. Coming up tonight, second half of our doubleheader. Second game at the new Mosaic. What an opening last week. Saskatchewan Roughriders looking for a W against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. In fact, two teams looking for wins. Coming up right after this one, we'll send you out to Saskatchewan. As usual, no matter what the weather is here, they come out in droves. Red Black Nation. Ever since they came back to the Basketball League back in 2014, it's been that way here. Very similar to what they've got going in Regina. Now Ricky Ray fires right away and over the middle. Big catch made by S.J. Green. And that gets the ball to the Ottawa 50-yard line. Actually going to spot it at the 46. 22-yard gain.
S.J. Green right on the numbers, hits the 50 and makes his break. Soft spot in that zone. Ricky Ray hits him in stride. Antoine Trudeau takes the worst of that as S.J. Green had time to get his head around and lower the shoulder.
37-year-old Ray, who used to be a mentor to Trevor Harris. Play action again, looking to the near sideline once more. And again, it's DeVere Posey. And it looks like another Argonaut first down, back to back. They move the sticks here.
Ricky Ray's first look, it appeared, was corner route a little bit deeper to Armonte Edwards, but he came off of that as DeVere Posey was wide open. Out in the flat area, took the easy one, moved the sticks.
Ricky Ray coming into the game, two touchdown passes shy the magical 300-yard mark. Ray now goes backwards. A little lateral toss to Brandon Whitaker as the pocket collapsed. Positive yardage, though. It'll be second down, likely a throwing down after a gain of almost 5 yards for Brandon Whitaker.
Well, Ray and Whitaker did well on this one nonetheless to turn it into a positive play after it looked like the Argo quarterback was going to be brought down for a loss.
Big play here from both sides. Conversion time. Ray and his arm rocked as he went to throw the football. Arnaud Gascon-Nadon got a piece of Ricky Ray's arm, so the Argos are going to have to bring out their kick team. It's the 3-minute warning before halftime. Complete domination by the Red Blacks. Argos removing, and then Arnaud Gascon-Nadon lowers the boom on Ricky Ray.
3 minutes till halftime. Rod and the boys back in the studio. Their thoughts coming up on this game and some missed and made opportunities. We'll also check in with Jock at TD Place and hear from Henry Burris as well in the GMC Professional Grade Playbook. All coming up at the half. Let's send it back to Rod and Dwayne.
All right, thank you, Roderick. You know, the Argos have a chance to get on the board here. Lirim Harilahu putting a field goal from the 34. And this one is wide too. Wide left. Deontay Spencer thinking about it. Finally will be wrestled down. The Argos get a point. It is now 12-1. But don't you get a sense that the Red Blacks have completely owned this game? This should be about an 18-0, almost a 21-0 game.
Yeah, we talked at the end of the first quarter about the time of possession, and we know that's, you know, that a lot of that is Ottawa's style of play in general, but they're sort of 17 minutes to 10 minutes thus far, as it looked like that one got down cleanly. Mark Trestman, as any coach would be, a little frustrated by the missed opportunities. and the gifts given up by the Argos thus far.
Offensively, that was their best drive, their last drive. Their defense may have to come up with a couple of big plays here. They're going to have to make some adjustments into the second half. Down 11. Harris play action again, and now he's chased down, and the Butler does it again. That is now 6 sacks on the season for the former NFLer.
Well, Victor Butler has been an absolute monster in the early going. He's going to come off the right side of your screen. Great swim move. He's on the backside for Trevor Harris, so the quarterback doesn't know until the last second when he's probably hearing those big old footsteps. Number 94 is coming.
Former Dallas Cowboy has been such a force, and high hurdle! Moses Madu, leap of faith. 11-yard gain, short of a first down, but this is what you do when you jump a ball and a bear.
Looking like a young Nick Lewis. Going airborne.
So that's what Mark Trestman needed from his D. First 2 and out. Big kick from Maher. And here goes Chandler Worthy. Turns back. And goes nowhere, down at the 15-yard line. Towering 61-yard kick from Brett Maher. Well, CFL Wired.
Catch a fade on him before this game is over for a touchdown.
Hey, give me some. Jay, I like this group, man. Let's go.
CFL Wired, of course, mic'd up, pumped up, behind-the-scenes action. Catch it Tuesday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Across the TSN network. I'm sure there's lots of chirping John going on tonight between these teams. Ricky Ray has never beaten the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Anthony Coombs, the former Manitoba Bison. Close to the 25-yard line, has to get to the 26 to move the sticks. Minute 17 to go before halftime.
Nice effort there from Coombs, former first-round pick. Making first man Taylor Reed miss in space. That's a second and short situation.
Second and short. Ray decides to throw, though. Here comes the rush, and he's going deep. And there's nobody home. There's a miscommunication that time. Closest person was the side judge down the field, about 20 yards past the intended target. Yeah. It's been that kind of first half, Dwayne.
Yeah, just cross signals in terms of their interpretation of what the defender was doing. Veer Posey, the wide man, into the boundary. Jonathan Rose in the matchup. He breaks it off, looking for a throwback. Throw behind to that back shoulder from Ricky Ray. Ray is anticipating that it's going to be a fade, that he's going to keep going down the sideline to put it deep.
Lirim Hajrullahu. Could be good field position here for the REDBLACKS if they play it right. Deontay Spencer going backwards. Lost about 15 yards, almost 20 yards going back that far. By Noel. National special team and backup receiver making the tackle. So under a minute, 46 seconds to go before halftime. Trevor Harris nursing a 11-point lead.
For any other issues they've had, the Argos special teams cover units have turned in some somewhat inspired football thus far. Here's Levi Noel, the U of T product, University of Toronto, leading the way.
Harris still chucking. Trying to get it into field goal position as Stangby makes the catch. It'll be second down. 2 yards to go. Manage the clock properly here. You get it down to near the 40, 45-yard line in Mahar's range. That pass was batted down on second down. So it'll be 3rd down. And so Maher will come out prematurely for the Red Blacks. .30 seconds to go. Maher is going to have to boot this back, and Armonte Edwards this time is going back to return.
Looks like the Argos have gone with more of a punt safe unit, leaving more of their defensive guys out there. So the returner may be a little more on his own, off script here than usual.
This guy could fly though. Edwards. Oh. Clobbered right there by Nigel Romick near the 32-yard line. So 20 seconds to go for Ricky Ray. Can he air it out? Can he get it in field goal position for Hairolahu? Or are they going to play it safe and try to get things straightened out for the second half?
Yeah, the way things have gone for the Argos thus far in this ball game, I'm not sure how many chances they're going to want to take here with the ball in their own territory.
Ricky Ray, 10 of 16, 119 yards. These two teams came in with the highest passing offenses in the league after 2 weeks. Ray goes over the top. Once again, it's his favorite new target. And they come up yapping at each other. S.J. Green wasn't happy with the way he was tackled. 14 seconds. They're going to have to check a long one here to have enough time to get Hairolahu out there. Ray, clock ticking to 10. Far sideline. Catch is made. Thrown out of bounds is Posey. So now they're down to 6, and that's almost what one play would take. It would have to be a very quick hitter. Maybe a 10-yard out pattern, then you bring Hairolahu out for a long field goal attempt. Or stretch it out deep. That's what they're doing. Time's going to run out, though. Final play of a first half that was very benign for Ricky Ray and the Toronto Argonauts. Just 1 point on a missed field goal attempt. Ottawa Redblacks lead this 12-1 in this Battle of Ontario tonight as we send it back to Rod and the guys in the studio. Boys?
All right, thank you, Rod. Well, I'll say something positive for the Toronto Argonauts right out of the gate. They didn't have penalties.
Good luck with that.
They didn't have a penalty in the second quarter, not by my count. They had 7 for 56 yards and an ugly first, and the Ottawa Redblacks certainly benefiting from that. So it's Ottawa's game so far, but Schulte, you know, the Argos have made it a little bit easier for them. Some missed opportunities, some made opportunities in this game so far.
Rod, I'm living in anticipation. I'm anticipating one of these offenses in getting into rhythm, or I'm anticipating a game-changing play. There's been a couple that have been there but have not been capitalized. Cassius Vaughn, if he had that interception, that would have been a touchdown. And then Jarrell Gavins breaks on the football, bang. If he had caught that, probably would have been a touchdown. But Khalil Bass, this is a very intelligent tackle. That's right, an intelligent tackle, because he tackled Brandon up high. He didn't tackle him low. If he had tackled the ball carrier low, that ball carrier would have gone for the first down on a third down. Very smart play, but I'm still living in anticipation. The talent level is there, but the execution is not.
Yeah, we could be living in fantasy land if Toronto, if we're waiting on Toronto to get their stuff together. They just look discombobulated. And I'm going to try to keep it positive. So I'm going to go on the other side of the football. I'm going to go to Brad Sinopoli, who you know you can count on from week to week and play some ball, because he brings his lunch pail to the park every time he plays. And he's gritty. He's there for his quarterback. Trevor Harris knows where he's at. He knows where the sticks are at. He's constantly moving it on second and moving the chains, converting. And this, I love this. He just catches the ball now. So show you how quick the game is. He's getting the play, puts the mouthpiece in. Now he's got to block Justin Tuggle. Yes, Justin Tuggle. If that name sounds familiar, that's because Justin Tuggle is the son of former NFL great Jesse Tuggle. And I can tell you that Brad Sinopoli, he just doesn't catch footballs and move the chains. He does all the dirty work, too. Absolutely love it, how they utilize their inside guys in Sinopoli.
Well, it looks like Toronto is playing checkers and Ottawa, they're playing chess. And they made a move that very few people probably recognize. It happened on 2nd and 21. And being a former coach, 2nd and 21, there are no plays in the playbook. And if a team can convert 2nd and 21, the defense should be embarrassed. But they saw something right here. They saw Matt Webster in the game. And no disrespect to Matt Webster, Webster. But if I see Matt Webster in the game, I'm going to go after him. That's exactly what they did. They put their best receiver on their worst DB and made a play like that. That shouldn't happen. But the fact that they saw Matt Webster was there, they said, Ellison, we're going to throw the ball up to you. The call in the huddle was, Ellison, go make this play. And that's all they did, and it worked out for him. So we haven't seen Matt Webster back in the game since. I don't know if we'll see him again unless there's an injury.
Also working well for Ottawa's offense, Moses Madu. William Powell hurt. Madu, I mean, on the ground, in the air, about 66 yards combined yardage right now, and a touchdown, too, for the Ottawa Redblacks, who lead the way at the half. Back with more. We'll hear from Jock Climbey after this.
Provincial rivals, the Argos and the Redblacks play action. And a touchdown. Moses Madu. Ricky Ray's in trouble, and he's going down. He's sacked. Harris going deep for Ellingson, bringing it down in Toronto territory.
CFL Grade and Grey Cup champion Henry Burris with the GMC Professional Grade Playbook.
Durant, threads the needle for Nick Lewis.
Now this is where the game of chess begins. Being efficient on first down is the most important job of an offense. It makes play calling that much easier. An offense's objective is to gain 5 or more yards on every first down call. This allows the offense to open up the playbook and call whatever. On second and medium or less, 80+% of defenses run man-to-man. For an offense to know this tendency, it allows them to call play and attack it. When a team knows what to expect, they've got you exactly where they want you. If a defense can keep the play to a short or minimal gain, it reduces what options the play caller has. This allows a defense to play a variety of schemes. We're talking man, deep zone drops, or bring the heat. When one has the option, the other must shorten their options. This is the strategy of chess created by First Down Success. Attacking man-to-man will be our topic next time when the Ticats take on the Rough Riders. And you know what? It's time to move the chains.
Coming up later, part 2 of our CFL and TSN doubleheader from New Mosaic. Gorgeous facility, and the Rough Riders still looking for their first win of the season. They got the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who last played 2 weeks ago when they were decimated by the Toronto Argonauts. It has been a different story for the Argos tonight, much like it was last week. Here to talk more about Toronto, we go to Jock Climbey. I mean, new regime in there, Jock. It's going to take a little bit of time. I think there was a lot of optimism, I should say, after week 1. But your observations on the Argos?
Well, first of all, I had a chance to talk to Jim Pop before the game, former general manager of mine, obviously, and a guy who's got a brand new start. I mean, 20-plus years with one organization. You go from Baltimore, moving to Montreal, 22 years, and now all of a sudden he's no longer responsible for the roster that he has inherited, and I asked him about that, and he says it's a process. I mean, there were guys he liked, there were guys he wanted to swap out, and there were guys he went and got who he knew, like S.J. Green in Montreal. But, of course, the first guy he went and got is someone he knew very well and respected, and that was Mark Trestman, so it starts with that. And I just wondered, as I watched the sidelines in this football game, I thought, wow, and I'm looking at Mark Trestman, and I'm looking over at Ricky Ray, and I'm thinking, these are probably the 2 most unflappable, implacable guys in professional football that I've ever seen. And Jim Pop actually went out and put these 2 guys together. And it's been amazing. When you're on the sidelines, you see guys laughing, you see guys trash talking, smirking, a whole lot of swearing, guys throwing things, but those 2, nothing. No emotion, no matter the circumstances. When we saw that third down gamble, when they went for it and barely missed it, I mean, it was inches. And Trestman, you wouldn't even know anything happened. He just sort of walked like this, completely unflappable. Ricky Ray's the same. Watch the way those 2 guys interact for the rest of this year.
He was like that in Montreal as well. You couldn't tell whether he was winning or losing, although I think that emotion has been tested a little bit in the first quarter, especially when they were taking a lot of those penalties. Thank you, Jock. Halftime at TD Place in Ottawa. The Redblacks, Trevor Harris and company, they're leading it 12-1. We'll be back. At the half, the most important number favors Ottawa. How about the rest of those numbers, Matty?
Yeah, well, the only one that matters right now is the 12-1. You know, just focus your eyes on Butler down there. Having a year already for Argonauts. That stout defense of the Argonauts keeping them in the ball game right now.
Trevor Harris, 15 for 19, 148 and a touchdown pass. Here he is with Matthew Shinetti.
Trevor, I imagine you like the scoreline, but the pressure their defense was applying late on in the quarter is something you're going to want to avoid in the second half.
Yeah, we're just going to keep mixing it up, making sure that we're keeping them on their heels.
we can't, do the same things. Obviously, their defensive line's pretty good, but Coach E's doing a great job mixing it up. We'll continue to do so.
I imagine no matter the weather or whether the sun's out, the real estate above Greg Ellington's head is something you can always go for. Take us through that catch, and no matter the situation, he just seems to high point the ball so well.
Yeah, it was just a situation where if it was one-on-one, I'd throw it up to him. Otherwise, we'll do something else. But he's just a guy you can do that with, and you put it in he finds a way to get in the defensive back's blind spot, and he does a great job at it, obviously. He's one of the best in the league.
Thanks, Trevor.
Yep.
Ellington with 4 catches. Moses Madu with 4 catches, too, including the touchdown in this game. It's been Ottawa in the first half. Argos, at times, our own worst enemy. Second half kickoff coming up here on TSN. One touchdown so far in this game. For every touchdown scored today and all season long, Safeway and Sobeys are proud to donate $250 to Special Olympics. Back to Rod and Dwayne in Ottawa.
All right, thank you, Rod. Again, it's a 12-11 score for the home side, the Ottawa REDBLACKS. One of the positive points for the Argos, Victor Butler, who's been great in the early season, a pair of sacks. He now has 6 on the season, and Victor is with Matt Shinetti.
Victor, pressure was applied on the REDBLACKS towards the end of the half. What do you have to do to continue that going into the second half?
We just got to continue to come out and play Argos football. Coach Tressman has done a tremendous job in training camp now to just execution. Harping on the execution, the little things, penalties, stuff like that. We've got to cut those things out so we can get to playing our style of football and come back and win this game.
On a personal note, you've played really well in these first few weeks. What do you attribute that to?
The defense. I've got the best secondary in the game, the best D-line unit, the best coaching staff. So when you've got that kind of pressure with everybody being great around you, you have no choice but to step up and elevate your game. Not a problem. Appreciate it.
Well, again, Victor Butler, former Dallas Cowboy, also played in Indianapolis, out of Oregon State. They'll need a few more of those. They need some big defensive plays, but they've got to find a way to get some offense going. The Argos do. If they have any chance here in the second half. Ricky Ray, 13 of 19 for 145 yards, but hardly any penetration into Ottawa territory.
Yeah, hit a couple of deeper balls connecting with S.J. Green primarily, but both of those were really more coming out of their own end rather than attacking, as you said, into Ottawa's territory.
Sun setting now here in the nation's capital for the second half. Armonte Edwards on the kickoff return. The 25. Wrapped up, ripped down at the 30. Ricky Ray got some rhythm late in that first half, but again, the REDBLACKS defense snuffed that out. Just the 1 point on the board through 2 quarters.
Well, Ottawa's defense isn't notorious for being a high-pressure group. As you heard John Climby talk about a little earlier, primarily a team that wants to play zone coverage. You're going to see 4- and 5-man rushes. Argos have got to make sure they give Ricky Ray time for some things to develop.
Ray, right out of the gate. S.J. Green. But Mark Nelson and Rick Campbell talked all week long about the MO against the Argos. That was to disrupt Ricky Ray, throw him off balance if they can. So far, so good here tonight.
Yeah, and like any game, you want to limit the big plays. Avoid giving up the deep ball. They've done a pretty good job of that thus far.
So many of these guys, Grey Cup champions, of course. Last November, they made some changes in their defense with some departures. The rush is on now. Ray over the top. Looked like it was almost picked off. Nick Taylor had his mitts on it.
You'll see the receiver, Anthony Coombs, make his break to the middle. He's going to come from the left side of your screen. And you'll see a point at which he has leverage on the defender and is open. Ball arrives a little bit late, enabling Nick Taylor, that nickel linebacker, nickel cover linebacker, to step in front.
Second down. Again over the top in tight coverage and again knocked down. This time Jarrell Gavins. So nothing again, just the 1 first down for Ricky Ray out of the chute here in the second half. And it's Lirim Hajrullahu time once more.
Just not much there in the way of throwing lanes on the last one for Ricky Ray. Basically had to get it through Not just Jarrell Gavins, but also the linebacker, Khalil Bass, right at the line of scrimmage.
Spencer is back to return and runs right into that and right out of bounds. A minute and a half into this second half and just one touchdown scored. And Moses Ledoux high stepping, dancing into the end zone on Saturday Night Football here in Ottawa.
Let's
Played 3 times last season. Their first meeting tonight. REDBLACKS and Argos. Injuries starting to pile up as well. Let's go down to Matthew Shinetti.
Yeah, Rod, the Argos defense will have to go without Ken Bishop because he came off the sidelines as the Argos were applying pressure towards the end of the second half. He was getting his left ankle looked at. He is out of pads right now. That means Jeff Finley is in. Guys?
And bear in mind, this is a defensive line that has already started the season without one of its key off-season acquisitions, Alan Michael Cash. Opens the year on the 6-game injured list.
Another former Montreal Alouette in play here. Sinopoli chopped down near the 50, but after a first down. Trevor Harris, great precision, just throws a dart. 15-yard gain.
It's that quick hitter. The slant route will come from right to left on your screen. Perfect timing, hit him as he goes through that window in perfect stride. Move those sticks. High percentage pass.
Run the ball up the gut. Minimal gain, maybe 2 here for Ledoux. As bad as it's been for the REDBLACKS through the last couple of years, deluge of injuries to their running backs. One of the things that Marcel Desjardins has been able to do is go out and get some plug-and-play players, guys who can replace those injured backs.
Yeah, they've been very fortunate, but when you look at just the history of this team going back to 2014.
Tipped. Marcus Ball.
That running back slot, it's been the jinx position. Every year, you look at the number of guys that they have gone through.
Maybe you don't want to be the starting guy. You want to be the backup.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been that way.
It's like we used to say about you don't want to be the starting quarterback ahead of Kevin Glenn.
So that drive stalls. Monty Edwards is back. Have not seen Chandler Worthy in quite some time after that early miscue. Great downfield tackle. Jean-Philippe Bolduc, leading special teams tackler for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, and it's a long field again for Ricky Ray.
Well, this has been the story of the game for the Toronto Argonauts. It's constantly been a long field that even if they're able to string together a couple of first downs, that's just barely getting them into Ottawa territory, rarely putting them in a threatening spot, not getting them into that offensive green zone. Average starting field position for the Argos, their own 24-yard line.
This is behind that at the 15. They decide to keep it on the ground. And look at this. James Wilder Jr., the biggest romp of the night for the Argos on the ground on the far side, peels off 30 big ones.
James Wilder Jr. has proven to be a nice change-up in the backfield, slightly more explosive player, bigger body as well than Brandon Whitaker. Some comparisons to Argo of days past because of his height and Robert Drummond.
There he is again, and Wilder, Dad James, name well known in NFL circles, and I know you grew up following James Wilder, Tampa Bay all-time leading rusher, and James Wilder in the game right now because Brandon Whitaker apparently is having some ankle issues again on the sideline.
The running back spot. Fortunate to be able to dress 2 American running backs. James Wilder Jr. is a pretty good special teams player as well, which adds to his value as a designated import.
2nd and 6 for the Argos from their 48-yard line. Ray from the pocket, and once again is dropped. Zach Evans was in, but so too was Avery Ellis. Ellis, a former Temple Owl who came to training camp last year. And when he came to the Red Blacks, another Temple Owl great is Henry Burris wanted to get his picture taken with Henry, so Ellis will get the sack here. Could be all three.
Yeah, Avery Ellis and rookie guard Eric Lofton, a couple of former Owls. Keeping Hank's legacy alive here in Ottawa.
A lot of work for Liram Hajrullahu here tonight. And Deontay Spencer. Jake Reinhardt, the long snapper, downfield very quickly. 42-yard kick, a 13-yard return. Ottawa ball again. Trevor Harris time once more. Trying to find that end zone. Just one major tonight here in Ottawa. Argonauts trying to pull closer tonight, but it's not going to be easy, especially with former Argo Trevor Harris, who in these battles of Ontario has never lost. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
Well, to increase maybe that advantage that he has, Rod, Trevor Harris, knowing he was going to become a starter, went to Chicago to get the advice of John Kennedy, a sports psychologist who does combat brain training. Now, what does that incorporate? Well, Mr. Kennedy does stuff with the Navy SEALs and might be doing stuff with Tom Brady this offseason. Didn't help Trevor there necessarily, but he's been able to go ahead and do something called objective training, where you change up certain colors, signs, and shapes and go through it repeatedly over and over again. Coach Elizondo, the offensive coordinator for the Red Blacks, has also been trying to do that, screaming into the quarterback's ears as they go through practice, ask them random questions like 44 times 13 plus 7 equals what? And Trevor, still learning this process. Coach tells his coach immediately, I don't know. Guys?
Try that with you. Okay, so you go ahead. 27 times 9. You're good at this stuff.
Well, I do fancy myself a bit of a math guy.
You are, yes. Not that quick. Bad snap here. Harris has to go down. The Argos have it. They scoop it. It's in the end zone. Who's got it? If Toronto has it, it's a touchdown. That was chaotic, to say the least. Trevor Harris on a bad snap. Thought he recovered, and then it was batted away and rolled right back into the end zone. Either way, the Argos are going to get some points here. And it looks like it's Toronto ball. It's a touchdown.
Well, everyone's signaling it except the officials.
So the first Ottawa turnover, there was one official that did put his hands up in the end zone. It's Rico Murray who eventually came up with it.
And you can see, looking at Trevor Harris's eyes, I mean, the ball hit him in the hands, but appeared to come up before he was ready for it.
Victor Butler in on the play. Cassius Vaughn. There's Finley, and finally, Rico Murray came in late, was the guy who eventually ended up with the pigskin.
Yeah, Cleon Lang had it at the bottom of the pile, but ultimately.
So all scoring plays under review. They have reviewed. It is a touchdown. And so the Argos, suddenly, their defense scores. And a chance for the two-point convert. Ray and Devere Posey can't haul it in. Jonathan Rose there again, but the Argos get 6. Thanks to a fumble and a ball that bounced all the way back, an Argo bounce in Ottawa. Suddenly it's a 5-point game, and maybe exactly what the Argos needed right now to swing some momentum. Tiger Cat Rico Murray. Leon Lang all in the end zone to recover the ball and give Toronto its first major.
There you saw Trevor Harris kind of looking, surveying the formation. That ball was snapped. Leon Lang, beneficiary.
Lang gets credit, and now look out. The former Argo, Deontay Spencer. Credit with the touchdown. 9.5 to go, third quarter, and suddenly the tide has shifted in a big way here. And this was a nice return. The diminutive runner played with Toronto the last few seasons.
The kind of response Ottawa needed on special teams after that play. So often a defensive touchdown like that can shift momentum in a big way. But pretty big play in response from Ottawa specials.
First and 10 from the 43. Harris. Quick snipe over to Greg Ellingson. Deontay Spencer had a week to remember. In week 2, he almost single-handedly won the game for the Red Blacks, who fell short in Calgary.
Deontay Spencer, 244 return yards, 351 total yards in that ball game, a couple of touchdowns. You know, they asked the question in Ottawa, how are we going to replace Chris Williams? Deontay Spencer providing a pretty good answer in the early going.
Team that lost 2 of their 1,000-yard guys, and Ernest Jackson, who's in Montreal, and Chris Williams, who is rehabbing an injury in BC, but now Moses Madu coming to the sideline. It's third down. Trevor Harris wants to go for it, but they're not. It's a long yard here. Rick Campbell says, take a look. It's a little bit longer than that, Trevor.
An opportunity as well here for the Argos, or excuse me, for the Red Blacks to keep the Argos in that hole that they've had them in for much of this game in terms of field position.
And over and boot. Little backspin. Monty Edwards swallowed up downfield near the 25-yard line. 36-yard kick, and flag flies late. We'll tell you about it when we come back to Ottawa, where the Red Blacks lead 12-7. Battle of Ontario. Great night in Ottawa for the fans, of course, who come out as always in full force, and also to help pay it forward. Purelator Tackle Hunger Night, first drive in the nation's capital. They raised £43,000 last year to help the food banks and help those in need. Our next food drive, July 22nd in Calgary. You get a chance to make a cash donation, non-perishable food item. And of course, you get a chance to touch something that the Ottawa Red Blacks brought this city last November, and will have that Grey Cup here, whether they play or not, in 2018 this November. This will be Grey Cup City, and can't wait. Journey begins 3 weeks in. Already lots of ebb and flow. Interesting subplots. Now Anthony Coombs goes backwards. That looked like a clip. Almost looked like a broken play from the beginning, too. That did not go off the way I think the Argos planned that.
The timing was just off in terms of the exchanges in the backfield.
Holding Toronto, number 56. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
And you'll see the left guard, Corey Watman, gets caught here. Or excuse me, right guard. Watman's going to pull out of here. He's looking for the kick out, but as Coombs goes outside and his defender's trying to fight out there, he's got to kind of grab on to keep him from making the play in the backfield.
Toronto Argonauts, again a long field. 66 yards of penalties, so many early in the ballgame that cost them. First major and points on the board, and S.J. Green. As Ricky Ray talked with us yesterday about having S.J. Green, and Ricky Ray's had a lot of tremendous receivers throughout his Hall of Fame career, but loves S.J. Green because of the catch radius.
Well, the catch radius, and the other part of it is a veteran who communicates. He talked about very early in training camp when they didn't connect on plays, S.J. Green coming back and asking, what do you want me to do differently on that route? And the feedback between the two of them was constant.
Back to the initial line of scrimmage, so it's second down and 10 from the 30. Ray with the drop. Here's the rush. And over the top, right at the first down marker. This will depend on the spot, and they may be giving a favorable spot to the Argos as Anthony Coombs looks like he's going to move the sticks. It will be a first down for Toronto. They'll scrimmage from their 40.
With that first down, the Argos go back to their big team offensively, bringing in tight end, fullback Declan Cross, as well as an extra offensive lineman.
Argos, who have really been dominated in this ballgame by the REDBLACKS. Mounted drive here. Gray throws a wobbler. Terrell Gabbins with a big knockdown. He's looking for S.J. Green, but ineffective spiral that time from the veteran Ricky Ray.
Well, you'll see they've got 7 across the line in this protection. Ray does a nice job to elude the rusher off the edge, but just didn't really step into that throw. Deliver it with authority.
Ricky Ray, who has not won here in Ottawa, lost the first ever game here for the Argos in 1817. The REDBLACKS won their first game back in 2014. Has not had much luck against the REDBLACKS. Slinging now, and Coombs, nobody touches him, gets up and is at the midfield stripe. And it's a Toronto Argonaut first down again, a 15-yard pickup for Anthony Coombs.
Coombs is a guy whose development will be interesting to watch here as he's now in his 4th CFL season.
Time is now.
The time is now, and an opportunity, again, playing with Mark Trestman, a coach who is such a details guy, which I think for some of the young guys on this team will be a real positive.
Andre Dury, of course, retiring. It's his spot now, a pump and go. Ray lofting it up. There's the catch, S.J. Green. What a great cut here. Down to the 10. S.J. Green will score. Suddenly, a different ball game. Just like that.
Well, and what impresses me on this one is how late in the route, as S.J. Green lines up as the outside receiver here, how late in the route he turns and locates the ball. The ball is in the air already. And he turns, finds it, makes a play and makes a couple of guys miss. As the Argos have turned this game around, courtesy of a big play from their defense.
A.J. Jefferson was the guy victimized, the former Argo, and so the Argonauts lining up for 2 once more. Their first lead to the end zone for S.J. Green again, and again, nothing on the 2-point effort. So the score now, 13-12 for the Argos, and maybe all of those opportunities that the REDBLACKS missed on as well in that first half coming back to haunt them. Listen to this place. It is silent.
Yeah, usually one of the loudest stadiums in the Canadian Football League. The moment that ball was caught, a hush came over TD Place.
S.J. Green's story, remarkable when you think about it. Again, a guy who's put up Hall of Fame numbers in Montreal, 2-time Grey Cup winner. He has had an absolutely extraordinary night, an incredible comeback considering last year at this time he was on the shelf for the rest of the year, blew out his knee in Montreal. First game of the season, remarkable highlight reel catches, game-changing catches tonight in huge numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest plays the Argos have had in this ball game have all come courtesy of that connection between Ricky Ray and S.J. Green. That one 55 yards for the major, pushing S.J. Green's totals on the day to 7 catches, 142 yards.
And for Ricky Ray, touchdown pass number 299. Next one is 300. Now Spencer carving his way. A nice return again, a good starting point for Trevor Harris and the REDBLACKS, who now have to answer that. Initiated by the defense, capturing momentum here in the second half. The Argos suddenly taking it to the REDBLACKS.
And we talked about some missed opportunities for Ottawa as well when you looked at what the time of possession was, what the field position was throughout the first half of this ball game. You sort of felt like, from an Ottawa perspective, that lead should have been bigger at halftime, and they're feeling it now.
Manu. Bear Woods out there with Victor Butler. What a motor on Victor Butler. Already, here is someone that they talked about down south for a while, comes north, and has become one of the leading D linemen in the Canadian Football League 3 weeks in.
Yeah, very quickly. And we talked to Sean Lemon about his bookend Victor Butler yesterday. One of the things he talked about is just the fact that here's a guy who spent these years in the NFL.
Nice catch. After a while, that gets redundant around Brad Sinopoli, but it was perfectly thrown by Trevor Harris.
Yeah, it sure was, but you know, talking about Victor Butler, this is a guy who spent several years in the National Football League, but comes up here not thinking he knows it all. He's a student of the game. He's asking questions all the time. He knows Sean Lemon has been a dominant pass rusher. That's who he's glommed onto.
Trevor Harris trying to zing one in for Stangby, and Rico Murray knocks that away. So it will be second down for the Red Blacks from their 51-yard line. Suddenly, Rick Campbell is a little baffled by the turn of events in this second half. Game the Red Blacks really have had in complete control from the opening kick.
Second down, keep an eye on Greg Ellingson here.
Up for Dominic Grimes. Grimes, a newcomer, a Murray State out of Florida International before that.
He's in the lineup with Jerron Kreiner out as they look to maintain some size in that receiving core.
Red Blacks are just flat right now. Down one. Under 3 to play in a third quarter, where the Argos have been able to bite back. Monty Edwards. Let's get Jock Climby's perspective from the sideline. You're up close and personal. Jock, what are you seeing?
Well, I'm just seeing the sense of urgency now in this Red Black football team. At the very top of the show, I talked a little bit about their schedule, and there's no question that Red Blacks do not want to start their season without a win in the first 3 games, because they're in the first game, 4 games, 17 days. And if you played the game of football, you know how tough it is to recover and play successful football with that kind of rest. They also don't have a bye week until October, where they have 2. That means they're going to have 1 game in October. This is a football team that knows it needs to win, and win now.
Thanks, Jocko. 4-17. It doesn't get any easier. Brandon Whitaker back in the ball game. So again, Wilder was in. Well, Whitaker was on that sideline.
And obviously, we know in a 9-team league there are sometimes some quirks in scheduling that different teams are going to be impacted differently and at different times.
Like this team?
Yeah, and I mean, certainly for Rick Campbell, I know the message from him. He doesn't want to talk about 4-17. Right now, he wants to talk about this game. Worry about getting a win in this game, and then they'll deal with the rest of the schedule.
Up the gut once more is Whitaker, and he plows his way for a first down. 4-17 days coming up, and also the hard start. I mean, obviously you have the Grey Cup rematch, but then right after that, you have to play against your Grey Cup finalist again, which is very, very unique. And for, I'm sure, a lot of people thinking, well, why? Why not to later? Save that a little bit to later.
Yeah,
you don't need Christmas in July.
Yeah, exactly. Spread it out, especially with what great games those turned out to be.
Ray chucking again. Look out here. Yes, once more is S.J. Green bringing it down. And Ricky Ray coming back up after getting knocked down. And suddenly the Argonaut air show is clicking. 38 yards this time. What is not routine to most receivers, S.J. Green makes it look routine.
Yeah, again, the human highlight film turns his defender outside in this time and just goes up and gets it. Now that's the part that we talk about all the time as far as this dynamic duo. Here's the part we don't talk about enough. For all the things that have been said about Ricky Ray over the years, not nearly enough said about his toughness to stand in there and take hits in the pocket to deliver those kinds of throws.
Jock was talking about it at halftime and how unflappable he is and how cool he has been at the other side of the pillow through. It's his personality. That's the kind of guy he is. He's got a very dry sense of humor, very witty. But he and S.J. Green tonight have combined for some magic.
Yeah, 8 catches, 180 yards through the air for those two veterans.
Again, next touchdown toss for Ray will be number 300. Out of the backfield, Whitaker with some help from a convoy. Brandon Whitaker now down to the 20. And the Argos will scrimmage from the red zone now after an 16-yard pickup from the former Alouette running back, Brandon Whitaker.
And nice execution here. Watch the big boys on the right side of that line. Block, 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 and get out in front. Look at the three-man convoy. Get your center and 2 guards out there. Good execution of the screen from the Toronto Argonauts.
Argos look to execute in the red zone. Trying to find the end zone. Declan Cross into a scrum. Make that James Wilder Jr. The time of possession now that has completely changed hands. In the final play of the third quarter.
Yeah, the Toronto Argonauts had the ball for only 11.5 minutes in the entire first half. Already over 9 minutes here in the third quarter.
We head to the fourth in a 1-point ball game. 2 teams that play close football. The Argos trying to get a win in the nation's capital. Well, a third quarter where the Toronto Argonauts suddenly spring to life. Defense first, and then Ricky Ray and S.J. Green hooking up.
Yeah, they did in a big, big way. Well over 100 yards in connections between the 2 veterans in that third quarter. And I mean, this is why you go out and get an S.J. Green, so you have that reliable go-to big play receiver, and he's proven his worth in the early going here in Toronto.
And you talked about the toughness of Ricky Ray, and again, a very pedestrian first half, but Ricky Ray's been in this league for such a long time. He knows the motto of the Canadian Football League is no lead is safe. 11 points is nothing, particularly into a second half. So now Ray also gunning for career touchdown pass number 300. 2nd and 9 after the 1-yard gain by Wilder. Whitaker is out there. Crowd amps up the volume here. Ray. Is it 300? No. S.J. Green trying to lay out. Once again, they got to Ricky Ray, and slow to get up. So Lirim Hairelahu will try to extend the lead. It'll be 3rd down. They bring the kick team out.
And S.J. Green got tangled up with the defender, Jonathan Rose, just a little bit towards the tail end of that route. He's going to start off in the slot. He's the 2 receiver here. Breaks for that corner. Excuse me, that's Jarrell Gabbins that gets out there, and that little bump is just enough to keep S.J. Green from being able to get a big paw on that football.
Hairelahu from the 25-yard line. He gives the Argonauts a 4-point advantage. And as Jock also mentioned, Mark Trestman, win or lose, his demeanor on that sideline does not change very much. He's been a guy who's been there, done that, won that, and of course his experience, 2 Grey Cup wins in Montreal, to the NFL with Chicago for 2 years, and then of course with Baltimore last couple of seasons as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't mean by any stretch that Mark Trestman is emotionless. There's an intensity about the way Mark Trestman coaches, but a lot of times a team is going to take its personality from its head coach. And Mark Trestman's teams aren't going to be on a roller coaster.
There's his boss, Jim Pop. Brought Mark Trestman to Toronto. Let's go down to Jocko.
Well, you guys are talking about Mark Trestman, and you know, one of the challenges he had is, okay, the last time he was in the CFL, he had who? Anthony Cavillo, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Now he's inherited Ricky Ray, another great quarterback, but different style. What he did is he incorporated and brought the similar offense he had in Montreal, but also went back to look at what Ricky Ray did well historically in his career and made sure he incorporated some of those plays as well. And so what you have is a pretty nice mix.
Booting it back to the REDBLACKS. Big blocks downfield. Spencer there, and Trevor Harris starting point again is the 29-yard line. Last warm-up toss. Harris, who was operating with great efficiency. Not getting a whole lot of pressure with the exception of Victor Butler in that first half. Suddenly, field has turned.
Yeah, you look at the passing yards in the third quarter of this ball game. Just 39 for Trevor Harris. Ricky Ray in the third quarter. 161 yards through the air.
A lot of it has to do with the pressure supplied by Butler and company. Sean Lemon on that front line for the Argos. Let's see what kind of rush they have this time. Heaves it out to Greg Ellingson as a first down. Knocked out of bounds by Rico Murray on that far side up near the 41-yard line.
But when you look, Ottawa lines up with what could end up being a 7-man protection. They're in double tight here. They're going to release both those tight ends, but it still has the effect, just by alignment, of widening the defensive ends a little bit, which in effect is going to cause them to take a wider rush route. They take that much longer to get there. So a great coaching adjustment to the pressure.
Cluster formation this time. Harris pulls the trigger. Brad Sinopoli can't catch up. Rare overthrow from Harris.
Sinopoli had a step on the man in coverage, Cassius Vaughn. As mentioned, the overthrow.
So now second down time. Red Blacks not so good after 3 quarters.
5 of 17 thus far on second down conversions.
Who will Harris go to? There's a second down conversion to Ellingson. His security blanket.
I was going to say the guy who is Trevor Harris's answer to Ricky Ray's S.J. Green. Greg Ellingson really established himself as one of the league's best big play clutch receivers since joining the Red Blacks a couple of seasons ago.
From Hamilton, played his college ball at Florida International. A number of CFL players coming from that school. Harris play action out of the backfield now. Deontay Spencer with a shake and a first down. Ball will be spotted near the 39-yard line, and suddenly the Red Blacks on the move.
A couple of big plays, and the Red Blacks seem to have their home crowd back into this game and behind them once again.
Go back to that no huddle offense. Harris barks out the play. 3 receivers, high screen. Quick snipe over there again. And look out! Spencer! Inside the 15-yard line.
Well, they've learned over the last couple of seasons here in Ottawa with Chris Williams how speed kills. And Deontay Spencer continues to make that point. This is a ball, first of all, that looks like it's going to be overthrown. Uses a burst of speed to get to that. Looks like he's going to be stopped close to the line of scrimmage. Burst of speed through a couple of defenders. Outruns the angle on another to pick up that first down.
24-yard gain inside that red zone. Red Blacks trying to answer again. Led for the entire first half. Harris, crossing pattern. Floater that time. Was looking for Sinopoli, who had a step near the goal line.
Yeah, when you take a look at this one, in terms of the recognition, it's the right call, the right adjustment, as they saw the free safety. Jermaine Gabriel sneaking up. He's on the right side offensively, coming on the blitz, which means the middle is open. You saw Sinopoli try to take that, but the defender, Brandon Harris, got enough of him to slow him down, keep him from getting into that open space.
Here is a key play. Second down. Harris throws end zone. Deep pass. We may have a flag. We do have a flag. Rico Murray interfered with Greg Ellingson, tripped him up. And now the Red Blacks will hover near the goal line.
The feet at the bottom.
Ellingson's feet get tangled up with Murray.
Yeah, inadvertent, but definite contact there.
So now, the interference was in the end zone to the goal line. First and goal. Ryan Lindley punches it through. Flag on the play on the far side. Usually that means an alignment issue. That could be offside. We'll see.
Offside.
Ryan Lindley has his first CFL touchdown. San Diego State, the short yardage quarterback, back in front for the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Ryan Lindley, one of the nice finds of training camp for the Red Blacks. I spent a couple years in the National Football League. Confident veteran guy under center. Very comfortable running that short yardage unit.
Brett Maher pours that through. 7 plays, 81 yards, and done very quickly for the Ottawa Redblacks.
7 plays, 81 yards, just under 3 minutes on that drive to regain the lead.
Numbers playing out. Close one here. 3-point game. 28-year-old Ryan Lindley, third-string quarterback, short yardage guy. Puts Ottawa back on top, converted by Maher, and it's a 3-point game and back to work for Ricky Ray. Loads of time left here, though.
We'll see what the Argos have in response to a tremendous drive just put forth by Trevor Harris in the Ottawa offense.
Tremendous drive and a great bounce back. Now Armani Edwards trying to kick it outside. Chased down. Anthony Gosselin. Here's the touchdown drive. Great balls here thrown from Trevor Harris.
Yeah, Harris just got into a great rhythm. Watch how quickly the ball is out on time, every throw. And as much as we talked about S.J. Green being the guy who got his team going, notice it was a couple of Greg Ellingson catches early in this drive that got Ottawa on track. Then a couple to Deontay Spencer, quick hitters. Let Spencer run with that football to move the sticks. And ultimately, pass interference call sets him up in short yardage, and Ryan Lindley takes it home, his first Canadian Football League touchdown.
Another long field for Ray and his offense. Swinging out of the backfield, Edwards makes one miss, then lunging forward to that first down marker up near the 34-yard line. It looks like he's got 9 on the play. Monty Edwards, who was a star quarterback at Appalachian State, played in Saskatchewan last year, got his feet wet in the Canadian Football League. Told us yesterday he learned from a Naaman Roosevelt, some of the better receivers.
Yeah, he had an opportunity to pick some stuff up from those guys, but had crossed paths in his NFL journey with Mark Trestman. The two were in Chicago together. The Argos traded for Monty Edwards during training camp.
What a stuff here by the Red Blacks on second and short yardage. They did not even get to the line of scrimmage. Looks like the Argos are going to have to boot this away on third down. It's third and almost a full 2 yards.
And clearly not what you're looking for after the other team has put together a 3-minute scoring drive.
And some rhythm here in the second half. That was the first 2 and out. Eric Mairelahu. Big kick sends Josh Stangby back to his 30-yard line. Stangby going backwards. We've seen this a lot tonight from the Red Blacks returners. Declan Cross makes the tackle downfield. 9.5 to go. And the Duke. Greg Ellingson. Duke with second down. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the 2017 GMC Sierra Elevation Edition. Get noticed like a pro. On the turf here at TD Place. Trevor Harris has had some success not only as a member of the Red Blacks, but also when he was with the Argos. Trevor Harris has never lost as a starter when these two teams have met. Uh-oh, look out here. Jermaine Gabriel, looking end zone, fights it off on the pick. And a big mistake from Trevor Harris and the Red Blacks. Jermaine Gabriel, the free safety, almost took it back into the end zone. The Argos are going to scrimmage near the Red Black 10. Turnovers in this second half, killing the Red Blacks.
Yeah, Jermaine Gabriel gets himself positioned very well here. We talked about how Trevor Harris is such a high percentage passer. But here he gets caught trying to put it down the field a little bit. Jermaine Gabriel running underneath that slant. He's seen it one time too many. Started cheating over that way, read the eyes of the quarterback, it appeared, and just ran underneath it to make another big play for the Toronto Argonaut defense.
Bishop's Gators grab, first round pick of the Argos. Ricky Ray settles in, looking for 300. He's got it! Touchdown, DeVere Posey. Flag on the play. This could be Ricky Ray's 300th touchdown pass of his glorious career.
Looks like flags down, one in the backfield, I believe, for a late hit or roughing the passer.
So Ricky Ray, welcome to the 300 club.
DeVere Posey on the receiving end.
Nice little footnote for him. Know that he just made a little history with
illegal
Ricky
contact
Ray.
on a receiver. Ottawa, that penalty is declined. We have major foul, roughing the passer. Ottawa, number 92. 15 yards were applied on the kickoff. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Again, silencer here at TD Place Stadium. Argos jump back in front. They continue to leapfrog here in this second half with 9 minutes to play. Hairelahu, the 32-yard point after. To restore a 4-point advantage. Talk about answers. And talk about points off turnovers here tonight. 13 points off turnovers, all in the second half. First, a fumble in the end zone, recovered by the Argos. Then a Jermaine Gabriel interception. Assist, Ricky Ray. Career touchdown pass. 300. DeVere Posey. Second touchdown catch as a Toronto Argo. Both from this guy, Ricky Ray, who has just joined the 300 club for touchdown passes. And here's the list now. Next up, Matt Dunnigan at 303, and Anthony Calvillo, of course, the all-time leader, 455. But 300 touchdown passes now and counting. By the way, earlier tonight, Ricky Ray also went over 56,000 yards career passing. After that penalty, remember, trying to pin the ears back of the Red Blacks. The other 85 is brought down by 84 Levi Noel. So Ricky Ray at 37, 15 years go back to career touchdown pass number 1.
Yeah, take a look. Much younger Ricky Ray, still unflappable. This one went to Terry Vaughn, first one of his career back in 2002. Had 4 touchdown passes that day.
Star was born.
There's one to Ed Hervey.
The legend began.
Never looking back.
Happy Camp, California, Sacramento State. Grey Cups. And now Victor Butler has another. That's the hat trick for the Butler. 3 sacks here tonight. And momentum has shifted once again. 10-yard loss as Trevor Harris goes down.
You see Victor Butler coming from the right side of that defensive line, top right corner of your television screen. You know, one of the things you notice about Victor Butler, aside from the motor, is how well he uses his hands. We've seen a variety of different moves. Swim outside, swim inside, rip, get low.
Brad Sinopoli tries the onside kick on second down. A very unique play. That part of the field. That is not how you execute that.
Well, off his foot. That immediately becomes a change of possession.
I'd like to look at this again to see exactly what that was.
What you should get, like, as you see him kind of dribble it forward with his foot, that as soon as the Argo player touches it, there's an Ottawa player right there. That player was not onside, so that should be Toronto getting the ball and no yards.
That certainly looked intentional.
On the previous play, we had a quick kick across the line of scrimmage. recovered by the defensive team. Ottawa was within the restraining zone. Will apply a 5-yard, no yards, and be Toronto's ball, first down.
Well explained by Kim Murphy.
Yeah, very peculiar looking play. I mean, typically, if you're trying to do an onside kick,
it's a little further down the
field.
field.
Well, and you're going to have people lined up behind him to be onside.
Clearly, that is absolutely an intentional quick kick and something they've probably been working on, but Toronto was too close, nobody onside. Try the quick dribble with your feet, and that is such a curious play for the Ottawa REDBLACKS and could be so costly here. Wow. So now Ricky Ray can add to 300 and make the REDBLACKS pay. And S.J. Green almost juggled that home.
Well, what stands out about this play is the way S.J. Green redirected, because Antoine Pruneau was licking his chops thinking he had the interception all lined up here. S.J. Green was trapped inside of him. Pruneau did a great job anticipating the route, and he's running to the corner. He's beating him to the corner. Then all of a sudden, Green cut underneath him. Very nearly came up with the catch.
Second down, REDBLACKS now need to stop. Ball is at the 15-yard line. For those of you listening on TSN Radio 1050. Quick hitter now for Posey. Posey down inside the 8. Will be short of the first down. And with a 4-point lead, it could be Hairelahu here to make it a one-possession, 7-point advantage. Talked about all the things that the Argos did not do or intentionally did to themselves in the first half. It's crazy how it absolutely turned around, and the REDBLACKS have done it in the second.
All of those early gifts seem to be getting paid back here by Ottawa.
Tony Fajardo is the holder. This is a chip shot for Hairelahu from the 16-yard line. Boots it through. The lead is now 7. 6:19 to go. Jock, how do you explain what you just saw?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm sure folks at home are trying to figure out what on earth the REDBLACKS have been thinking. Well, here it is. It's 2nd and 20, so they're guessing the Argos are going to be in prevent. All they've got to do is punt the ball across the line of scrimmage and recover it. That means you don't need 20 yards, you need 1. But you've got to be able to punt the ball, dribble it to yourself, and recover it across the line of scrimmage. It's a play I've heard talked about for years. I've never actually seen anybody be able to execute it. I don't think I've ever seen anybody try it. But the key there is that you need the defense to be backed up and prevent. And they weren't. There was one guy short, and that's what caused that play not to work.
So just to tag on to what Jock said, the key point here is the punt is a change of possession.
Absolutely.
And by being onside, you're refreshing your set of downs is what you're trying to do.
Harris in trouble again. Down he goes again. Another sack for the Toronto Argos, who came into this game leading the CFL in sacks. And Jeff Finley, former Guelph Griffin, brings down Harris. Finley with 2 sacks tonight. Again, coming into the ball game with the injury to Ken Bishop.
And Finley is one of those guys, one of the first guys the Argos signed in free agency. It was actually before Jim Popp came on as the general manager, despite the fact that Popp had him in Montreal. The Argos were just trying to remain flexible with the moves they made at that point, not knowing who was going to be the head coach.
Harris back to the security blanket on a huge play. So go back to that play, though, on 20 yards. That seems to be the more logical play, to try to find an Ellickson downfield, at least get some field position. It's such a risky play at this time of the ball game.
The part to me about it that was most risky was the field position. That you're kind of backed up in your own end, that if anything goes wrong, I mean, I understand that you're trying to catch the other team off guard when they're anticipating that you're going to throw 20 yards downfield to Ellickson. But the field position is what kind of makes it so costly.
Moses Madu, Dwayne with carry here. It'll be 2nd down, half the first down yardage. But Madhu started all of this. Jamie Elizondo and Rick Campbell tonight with the first major of the ball game. Ottawa, if you're just joining us, had a 12-1 lead, complete control, and then it changed on a dime. And a bad snap in the third quarter. Argos recovered, scored later, and now Argos still in the lead. But great catch on the far sideline. Another first down from Stangby.
You know, we talked earlier about the Argos and Mark Trestman's calm head and teams taking their cues from their head coach. You look at Ottawa now responding to some adversity and the kind of play that could easily have a team hanging their heads with the drive that they've put together here. That to me speaks volumes about the approach of Rick Campbell and even Keel Guy himself.
Madhu, first down again. Maybe a lot of this also has to do with all of the games under duress that the Red Blacks have had to play of late. Big games early in the season, 3 games in a row against Calgary dating back to last year. Essentially every game's had a playoff type atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean the high pressure games certainly that, as much as it was weeks 1 and 2 of the season, definitely a little bit of a playoff feel.
Absolutely.
To those 2 Calgary games.
Timeout here. Ottawa took a timeout. 3-minute warning coming up at 3:36. A couple of plays away. Need another clutch play here from Harris. Second down from the 37-yard line. Those look to be coming here. They are. There goes the football. What a juggling catch. Ellingson again. Clutch. Captain Clutch once more. Moves the sticks.
Ellingson falls into that category. Those receivers who you just count on to make the difficult catch. You know, we've said it about S.J. Green. We say it about Brian Burnham. These guys who make the extraordinary ordinary. Ellingson, 9 catches, 141 yards on the day.
Mark Trestman had thrown a challenge flag. Now, as you saw, the Red Blacks huddled very, very quickly, and looks like Trestman didn't get that challenge flag from the previous play.
Yeah, presumably the juggling catch.
The juggling catch. He wanted to challenge that. So we'll be back to Mr. Second Down once more. Second down here. Field goals aren't good enough right now. There is still time left. Last play before the 3-minute warning. Harris now looking over the top. And it is caught. Touchdown. Oh my goodness. Greg Ellingson. Incredible catch in traffic. And a point away from tying this game. The Duke of second down.
I'll tell you, I saw this ball leave Trevor Harris's hands headed towards Greg Ellingson, and I kind of held my breath because I saw 2 white jerseys surrounding the Red Blacks receiver. But no sooner had we said it than Greg Ellingson does it again. He makes the tough catches look easy.
S.J. Green makes Ellingson-like catches, and Ellingson makes S.J. Green-like catches. Both of them great catching radius, clutch players, and they have put on a show here tonight.
Yeah, this second half has been a terrific highlight reel between these 2.
Must make, and they don't. I was just about to say, speaking of clutch, needed that to tie. The 3-minute warning, a bobbled snap to Drew Tate, who had to cover it up. And the lead is 1 after Ellington's spectacular catch. Greg Ellingson bringing it in. Somehow, Brandon Harris draped all over him. We go to the wire again tonight in Ottawa.
Coming up on TSN, part 2 of our doubleheader. Zach Collaros and the Ticats frustrated by the Argos 2 weeks ago in their opener play their second game of the season at Mosaic in Regina against the 0-2 Rough Riders. We get a close finish in Ottawa, though. Back to Rod and Dwayne.
We've got another close one. 8 times these teams have met, Rod, in the past. 6 of the 8 have been decided in the final 3 minutes. Why not just try to do it again here tonight? Trying to get outside, he won't, and pushed out of bounds. There was a penalty flag back at the 20-yard line, so you've got the student and the teacher as well. Let's go back to the missed convert here. Drew Tate couldn't handle this snap.
Yeah, and this is one that, you know, it's not so much the height of it, but the ball comes in
on the return,
a little bit inside, a little bit tight to Tate. It's one he probably wishes he could have back that he could have had. Definitely not uncatchable, but he's anticipating it being out in front of him a little bit more. Trouble handling it, and you see the result. Argos
holding on the return. So this could come back to haunt the REDBLACKS, but still plenty of time here. Argos near the shadows of the goalpost. Long field. 102 yards to Pater. Ray, wobbler, but caught. And as we continue to watch the S.J. Green, Greg Ellingson show here tonight.
Well, I mean, that one's going to put S.J. Green over 200 yards receiving on the day, his 9th catch. And again, Ricky Ray getting absolutely blasted. He's pretty much horizontal when he throws this one. Another one where he's taking a little bit of a leap of faith that S.J. Green's going to get there. And as usual, number 19 doesn't let his quarterback down.
Taylor Reid, the bat hit. Ricky Ray, though, still calm and cool. Jumping into the hole. To that gap was Brandon Whitaker, so second down, likely a throwing down again. So it comes down to Ricky Ray against Trevor Harris. Talked about the 8 meetings, 5 times. Toronto has won, 3 times the REDBLACKS have won. REDBLACKS won 2 of 3 last year. Ray again has never beaten this Ottawa franchise. Maybe tonight. The 1-point lead. It's over the top once more and short of the first down. Trying to sell it is S.J. Green, but a great defensive play made there to keep him away from that first down marker. Taylor down there, able to upend S.J. Green.
Yeah, he's in that chase mode. The Argos try to use the crossing route to create some separation for S.J. Green, but Taylor, as you said, did a terrific job tracking him immediately as that ball was caught.
Timeout again, so trying to stop the clock, the REDBLACKS, and we'll get the yard back. Get the ball back here in good field position. Lirim Hajrullahu. And Trevor Harris can go to work on a 2-minute offense. How to get field goal position or better. Hajrullahu. Good bounce there. Spencer is cornered. Harris is going to start near the 36-yard line, down 1 point.
The 2017 GMC Sierra Elevation Edition. Get noticed like a pro.
Well, what else can we expect in the early weeks of this season but a thriller? Didn't look like that in the first half, partner.
Well, slow moving. The Argonauts, a horrible first quarter, penalty filled. Had to gift Ottawa an early 11-0 lead. Well, the REDBLACKS have had their own struggles here, particularly in the third quarter, that have made this into a ballgame.
Turnovers have hurt, 13 points on that. Harris is hit. Lay out for that. Not this time. Greg Ellingson. Ellingson and S.J. Green. Ellingson 170 yards. S.J. Green, by the way, 209 yards on 10 catches. An air show here in the second half. Critical second down now for the Red Blacks. Argos look to rush 4. Harris stays in and goes over the middle. And right at the first down marker, Patrick Lavoie.
You'll get a feel right here for how Trevor Harris has to thread the needle on this one to his fullback, Patrick Lavoie. Again, Argo defenders converging. Trevor Harris puts some heat on it, just beyond the outstretched arm of Marcus Ball.
From their 50, first and 10, near hash mark. Harris, pump and go, but once again, harassed in that backfield. Cleon Lang brings up Trevor Harris.
Are moving forward. Cleon Lang from his defensive tackle spot provides the heat here.
Former teammate of Harris in Toronto. Cleon was there, came of course to Ottawa as well.
Briefly at the end of last season, just long enough to get a ring.
Yep, get a Grey Cup ring, and now trying to get some revenge on his teammates. Out of the backfield. Short of the first down is Moses Madu. So another second down conversion coming up. Clock down to 1. Make this a third down. Clock coming down to 1:21, and this could be ball game right here.
A third and about 3 yards here.
3rd and 3. Red Blacks have to get to the Toronto 50. Harris, nobody home. Harris goes down, stretches forward, and it's all on the spot here. He had to get to the 50. The Argos offense is jumping on the field. I don't think Trevor Harris got there.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be just short.
And that could be it for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Rick Campbell can only shake his head at this second half. The Argos have turned it on, and the Red Blacks have been turned right off.
Yeah, and it's one of those that drives coaches nuts. 5 rushers against 6 blockers. And the Argos managed to collapse the pocket, and it's Sean Lemon who tracks down Harris from behind.
It's about as much emotion you'll see from Pressman. So a first down here by the Argos, and they can put it away, but now it's second down, and still might be an opportunity for the Red Blacks to get this ball back. They must make a stop here. It's all about the Argos' missed chances and penalties, mistakes in the first half. And all about the Red Blacks' mistakes and missed chances in the second. And the play clock went down to 2. Ricky Ray going to the sideline.
Timer, please reset the clock to where it originally started, please, and give me a fresh 20.
Fresh 20 with 52 to go. Again, a first down, and it is over. Stop. Red Blacks' heart could still be beating here tonight. These teams met 3 times, only twice this year. Meet again on July 24th. Back in TO. wrap it up again. Rick Campbell's irate on that sideline.
All kinds of confusion down there.
Ray's having a hard time hearing the speakers in his helmet, too, coming to that sideline. Clock is back at 1:11, was at 52. We'll have to figure this out. They're likely talking with command. And
Timer, the clock should represent 52 seconds. 5-2. A fresh 20-second game clock, and we're on a hold.
Rick Campbell saw that the clock had been went back to 1:11, is still trying to negotiate for that. Another play that reeks of huge importance right here. Ray's going to toss. And Whitaker stopped at the midfield stripe by Jonathan Rose. So Ottawa will get the ball back. And Whitaker slow to get up. Injured on that far side, near the far sideline at the midfield stripe. And they'll attend to him. A little more time here for Ottawa to think up their strategy.
And Brandon Whitaker got ear-hold as soon as he caught this football. No opportunity to turn upfield. You see him take a free release across the formation into the flat. Jonathan Rose lowers the boom.
Let's go down to the thick of it again, Jock.
Well, it's mayhem down here. But, you know, guys, I was just thinking that the Red Blacks were able to come back and win this football game. Mark Trestman will be shaking his head after he reviews the film and realizes that his late challenge on the bobbled catch by Ellingson on the sideline may have cost his football team the game. I watched him the entire time. He stood with that flag in his hand, and he waited to the last possible second to throw the flag, but forgetting that he actually has to have a ref's attention. It's not just automatic when he throws the flag. However, he may have saved his football team. He ran all the way down to the Red Blacks bench to call that timeout with 2 seconds left on the 20-second clock to save Ricky Ray from a time count, which would have been a loss of down, and they'd have been punting the football with over a minute left to the Ottawa Red Blacks. So he made one mistake, but made up for it with a great timeout call.
Not sure if he would have won the challenge.
Yeah, very close one. And had he lost the challenge, so too would he lose a timeout.
This has been a very interesting one. We've had so many different plays. Go back to that kick by Sinopoli, and Paul McCallum, the Hall of Fame kicker from BC, just texted me a little while during that while what was going on, and he was thinking about doing it a few years ago, but they changed the rule that punters cannot do that. Quickly kick it back to themselves, and so we welcome the viewers on TSN 3. TSN 3 and 5 joining us now. That could be a big play in the grand scheme of things. The missed convert, the bobbled snap to Drew Tate, ultimately to cost this team, but still they have time.
Yeah, when you break this game down to those handful of plays that decide it, for as many big positive plays as there have been, it'll be the big negative plays, so to speak, that'll be talked about as deciding factors.
So now, Josh Stangby. Very little time left now. Trevor Harris, 28 of 41 on the night, 341, 2 touchdowns. Costly interception here in the fourth quarter. But can all make that go away if he can put his team in field goal position, and Brett Maher could get a chance as well. If they can get it in field goal position for a win, or potentially even a tie to go to overtime. But they've got to get it at least to the 45-yard line of Ottawa.
Yeah, really no wind here to speak of. 16 seconds left on the clock, so we should have a couple plays to get it over midfield here.
And he goes to the 50-yard line. And that only took up 5 seconds to Brad Sinopoli. They'll line up quickly. You really only got chance for one more here, and you might have to bring out your kicker after this. Usually 6 to 7 seconds per play. Try to get one out of bounds. By the way, Mahar's career long is 58. Still a chance for Ottawa. Another quick hitter. That took up another 6 seconds, so they are down to 2.
And this would put him kicking from 59. So one above his career long.
Yards for Brett Maher. This to win. Likely, if he misses, they can get this ball out because it's so far away. But Brett Maher with a chance to win it in what has been a crazy game here in the second half. The kick is up, and this kick is wide. And the Argos will bring it up and better go down. And the Toronto Argonauts, after a brutal first half, come alive in the second, survive, and will steal one here in Ottawa and head home with a W.
Yet another memorable finish here in the early going of the 2017 CFL season.
Maher with the miss. They needed a few more yards. Go back to that missed convert, though, on that bobbled snap to Tate. Maher, who's been a hero a few times, not this time, just a little bit right. Otherwise, that was a game winner on a back and forth second half. Too many mistakes for the Argos in the first. Too many mistakes for the REDBLACKS in the second.
Yes, sir.
Here's our Nissan Titan player of the game. With this, there is no doubt. Brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Not many mistakes for this guy. An honorable mention, of course, goes to his quarterback, Ricky Ray, who had his 300th career touchdown pass tonight. But the Nissan Titan player of the game, S.J. Green. 10 catches, several of them somewhat phenomenal.
Routine for him.
Another day at the office. 10 catches, 210 yards, and a touchdown for S.J. Green, tonight's Nissan Titan player of the game.
So the Argos will head to Winnipeg next week. REDBLACKS go to Edmonton, and the REDBLACKS are still winless on the season. Ricky Ray has joined the 300 touchdown club here tonight in Ottawa. Big win, Argos, 26-25, as we send it back to Rod and the panel in the studio.
Big win indeed, Rod Black. Thank you. As the Argos not only first in the East, 2-0 in their own division as well, and who knows how that'll be as a factor later on if it comes to a tiebreaker situation. In the Ottawa REDBLACKS, the Grey Cup champions, 3 weeks in, yet to produce a victory. This one really hurts. Boy, he talked about it. I mean, the Argos had the mistakes early, but it was really the mistakes made by Ottawa in the second half that hurt this team.
Yeah, it was a tale of two halves. Just watching that game, I mean, of course, everyone will say that first half, it was pretty bad. We would say that everyone. But that second half, that game picked up. And there's two things that stood out to me. Of course, first, Solomon Jr. The play of Solomon Jr., S.J. Green was spectacular. But that hold on the extra point, that was the reason why they didn't get opportunity to go in, worst case scenario, going to overtime. 9 out of 10 times, he makes that catch and they get that opportunity, but they didn't get it, and that's a big reason why they lost this game.
Story of the season for me is S.J. Green for the Toronto Argonauts. S.J. Green continuing to play well and coming off his major knee reconstruction, and the play of their defense, right. Schulte. Butler, Finley, and that whole defensive line pressured Trevor Harris. I mean, Trevor threw for 360, but he was hit a lot, forced a lot. Schulte, Butler continues to be a story in that defense for the Toronto Argonauts. So very, very surprising.
Well, Victor Butler had 8 tackles by himself, 3 quarterback sacks, and you mentioned Finley, surprise performance. He made some impact plays. But to get back to the Drew Tate hold, that was a catchable football.
Yes.
And also, when he went down, he had time to get up and do something, anything. Throw the football downfield. I know it's a confusing moment. It's an urgency moment.
Right.
But that's tough, man.
But I'm not going to pin it on Drew, but, that's the one that seems like it was
an identifiable moment.
No kidding. But there were a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas in that ball game. And there's going to be a lot of going, man, if we only did this. And, which is like any football game at this point. But seriously, Toronto, they bounced back, got away themselves, and found a way to win.
Well, remember a week ago, it was the Saskatchewan Roughriders and their fans wondering what might have have been in an overtime loss to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Coming up, part 2 of our doubleheader. They're back at that beautiful new stadium, this time to host the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That one's coming up here on the CFL on TSN.